Good morning, guys. Everyone out there. Uh, you saw Animal gave us a fancy new intro screen. He has the ability to do these things. I think I can learn. This is something I actually thought about. We're talking about. Oh, yeah, welcome to the show. Whatever. This we're gonna talk about the memes. Litecoin became a meme this week, and it got me thinking it'd be fun to do like maybe even talk to somebody who's a meme expert because we were trying to study the history of memes, but. Anyway, here we are. It's November 16th. I don't even know how many of these we've done. This is probably like our 10th one here, Animal. We had
Something
a
like that.
guest that ended up falling through. We think we'll have him back in a couple weeks. It was going to be about the Fed, but he had to reschedule. He had some other engagement. So we had kind of a free week, and it worked out well because we've probably had the most, I don't know, what would you call it? Exciting, interesting week in
Yeah,
Litecoin.
dramatic. I
And probably
think.
maybe in the last, what would you say? I mean, since 2017. Maybe not. Maybe not that far. We've certainly had some exciting weeks. It's just been a while. So if you're not on Twitter, not on X, you probably wouldn't know what was going on. But essentially on Wednesday, the Litecoin Foundation gave control of the Litecoin account to someone. Nobody knows who it is. And they started posting. And it's led to a lot of activity. And it's been funny. It's brought in a lot of like totally random accounts, and it's gotten eyeballs from some larger accounts. And it's been kind of nice. Like it's felt for a long time, Litecoin's had this like, I don't know, this vibe of being just an old dino coin, right? And I myself, you and I are no
Boring.
spring chickens
Yeah,
animals. So
it's been criticized as being boring.
yeah.
Yeah, not having any, I guess, any development or like a foundation that does anything. And I think also the foundation was coming under fire recently. I know they reached
Yeah.
out to the community a
From
couple of times saying
myself,
like,
from
"What should we
myself.
do?" Yeah, you yourself, you did, uh, I guess, create a really nice suggestion as to how to bolster public the public opinion of Litecoin. Gave some comments and some, I guess, and they received some pretty harsh criticism. And frankly, I think it wasn't totally unjustified.
Right.
Given how Litecoin kind of faded into obscurity at some point, despite the fact that it is, still being worked on and constantly being retooled.
Do you think it's coincidental, this thing? I feel like it's coincidental. This isn't something unless they just had somebody waiting in the wings going, please give me the opportunity. Seriously, please. And then
I think
they
so.
finally decided, fine, let's roll the dice here.
I think that's pretty. Like, I think there's a lot of people that love Litecoin, a lot of OGs that remember it fondly.
Right.
And at some point, like, the narrative is important, and the crypto narrative has been hijacked by Bitcoiners, um, by people like Michael Saylor, right,
Right.
and Max Kaiser, who are basically taking up all the oxygen in the room and not allowing anyone else to breathe. And so, yeah, I mean, Litecoin's Twitter account grew some balls and is now making some space for itself, which I think, unfortunately, is more important these days than the tech, in terms of price action. I think we're seeing that
To a degree. Yeah,
to a
yeah. I mean,
degree.
for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we as Litecoiners, I want to get into it. I want to go through like some of the tweets I thought were pretty funny and kind of what triggered it. But I've always felt that way too. Like, I've always said, Bitcoin it's just a big meme coin, right? They've got
Mhm.
they've got a story, and money is a meme. Money is a collective agreement that we're all going to use. That this thing has value over another thing, particularly in crypto, because you got 1,000 fucking coins. So like at some point you kind of have to settle on like what actually are we all going to use together. And Bitcoin's captured that meme of digital gold, and it kind of was this. What's been interesting is its meme has changed, right? It was this revolutionary thing, this anti-government thing, and now it's morphed into this like, please buy my bags government thing. And so I think there is an opportunity Litecoin to be that kind of irreverent like little brother. Like, no, we're sticking to the script. You know what I mean? And in reality, that is what's happening, right? It's becoming difficult to even hold Bitcoin because of the cost of doing it. So let's not get into the nerdy shit yet. But I do want to show you. Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. I've got
There's some gems, man. This guy's guy or
I know.
girl team or whatever. Like they've been killing it. Honestly,
Yeah, some part of me thinks almost like let you do have to kind of dial it back, but I'm not giving any advice. They're doing a great job. All right, so I started out at the beginning. So there were a couple posts on Wednesday, but this is the trigger of a lot of it. What the heck happened there? Can I look at that tweet? Uh, this was right before our spaces on Wednesday. Due to market conditions, I now identify as a meme coin, and this hit. Let me see. Oh, it's not showing me. Oh yeah, 5.4 million views. And what happened is Dogecoin retweeted this, I didn't even know Dogecoin had an official account. Let me actually, can I zoom this in a bit? That's probably better,
bro,
right?
actually mute our private chat. Come on,
Huh?
minimize our chat, dude. Come on, we're there.
What are you talking about? Oh, sorry. I thought you meant in the live stream thing.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to know you had
Yeah, I know.
technical.
If you read that, I did have technical issues this morning. Everything seems to be okay.
Sorry,
Made
I
it in the
see what
nick of
you mean.
time. Yeah.
You act like you're
Anyways,
worried about like something you and I talk about.
no, it's just I mean, you know,
I got it. I got it.
yes.
All right, hang on.
Anyways, yeah, come on. It's, this is Irene Zhao. Was that
Well, no. So then Dogecoin comes in and says, "Hey, fam, Litecoin now identifies as a meme coin. Let's help them out." And this was probably really what triggered it. Why do they keep jumping? Come on, Twitter, don't mess with me. Uh, which actually got fewer views, surprisingly. But down below, Greg. If you don't know who Greg is, I recommend you follow him. He's funny. He's probably one of I don't know. He's had some legendary tweets. How about that? And he has a big following. And so Greg helped out. This was his help making this meme, which now is my profile picture.
he's also really talented. Look at that. I mean, that's glorious.
It's Picasso, right?
It's you can tell that he's actually like I don't know. He's probably also a team of people. This guy's too brilliant for like an idiot, you know. Because he comes off as just someone who doesn't, you know, he's
Well, we,
just
we discussed this a bit on Spaces, and we didn't dive too deeply into it, but there's definitely like an art to being a good Twitter account
yeah.
that I certainly haven't mastered. Just in like the literally even in down to the pacing of how people speak or like how brief their tweets are. Like I think the best ones are people who don't get too wordy, right? They just have a little snarky remark, but it's just funny. It's lighthearted and
It catches you off guard,
yeah.
you know.
Uh,
Um, it's
but
clever,
anyway,
and yeah, I mean, he's definitely like he's brilliant when it comes to tweeting.
so they
Um,
asked him what's his name, which led to he said the name's Lester, and this is where it started to feel a little bit odd in the last couple days. But so somebody immediately jumped on this on Solana and created a meme coin called Lester, which
yeah,
has drawn in all the trader, the meme coin people. They all want to pump Lester, and so that's given these tweets a lot of attention. Um, Litecoin actually just made, or at least Jinji, the director of the Litecoin account of Litecoin Foundation, did clear up today and say we're not associated with Lester because there was a lot of speculation that maybe um, there was some coordination going on. I never really believed that, but it is what it is.
no,
So
I mean, given Litecoiners, I guess adversity to Solana and that kind of like tokens, right? It makes sense. We're definitely not. I mean, Litecoin is definitely not associated with those lesser tokens. Um, we are like to that extent. The only thing we're in terms of tokenage that we're
Sure.
really associated with are was like that wrapped Litecoin stuff, right? I guess um, that's the only. It's not an ERC20 token. It's its own wrapped contract, but um, yeah, it's the only thing that's actually being backed by the foundation now. Which given that we're moving into the meme space, I think it's appropriate. We do have a wrapped token. People can start buying it or converting their Litecoin to a wrapped version. Super
Trying to,
interesting for future prospects of adding liquidity and reaching a wider user base.
I'm trying to find this original tweet for this Irene Zhao, who again, you don't know her. She's kind of, I don't even know what you would call
Is she real?
simp bait.
But is she an AI? I don't know if she's a real person.
She's real, yeah. Because the
Yeah.
reason that Litecoin here, you can see she posted a picture with this guy, and then the Litecoin account did this,
Hmm.
and so got into like a meme battle with the Litecoin account, which was great. Again, eyeballs are eyeballs. You know what I mean? Like it sounds silly to it's that's the stuff that's hard to explain if you're like to your parents, like, well, then this big account shared it, and KLM was talking to the Litecoin account because they had a meme coin thing go on, and it's just been overall good. I mean, everybody's been talking about it. I guess it's been the talk of crypto, non-Bitcoin crypto Twitter, which has been a long time, and so I think the thing I'm trying to take of it is use the opportunity to educate some people about Litecoin. If you want to have some fun with it, have some fun with it. And all the things we've been tweeting for the last however many years to explain why we think Litecoin has value and should be more on par with Bitcoin. Retweet it, repackage it a little bit, maybe with some humor. Yeah, I would love to see us become the kind of the fun alternative to Bitcoin, where they're very
Yeah.
serious, where we can say, yeah, we have all the same things, because I think we're going to see an ETF here. I actually think fairly soon. I don't know why. My gut tells me this is going to be. We really hit a little like the Goldilocks zone, they call it, right? Where we got, because of Trump's convincing victory, it's a bit of a mandate to do some things to get the ball rolling. He's very pro crypto. He's talked about, just this week, apparently getting rid of capital gains tax on crypto. I will be floored if that actually happens. Like, I will literally be
Seriously.
shocked. I would be. I
Yeah.
can't imagine. Dude, that would be the introduction of like people would just stop using dollars. I think for the most part.
I
Uh,
mean, if there
well,
be
a lot.
like less of a reason to hold, right? People will be able to speculate more freely, spend it more freely.
Right.
Um, yeah, I think that'd be great. Definitely, the stars are aligning for the cryptosphere. And this social media push from the Litecoin Foundation is definitely gonna bring a lot of interest to Litecoin and hopefully um, encourage others to start ETFs and bring even more capital to the space, more liquidity.
Right. Well, so having that like sweet spot where, okay, he's got this mandate, he's optimistic about it. There's an ETF that's already been filed.
Mhm.
Gary Gensler apparently is supposedly he's going to resign. That's the word. But that again,
Is
I don't
that is
trust.
that official? Did he say that, or is it just
I
speculation
don't.
at this
That's. I mean,
point? Still,
that's just speculation. I think. But even so,
okay.
he's not going to be around for very long if Trump sticks to his word. So, um, as a show of like a changing tide, I can see very easily. It's very easy to just turn these ETFs on. Whether it's maybe it's all of them that have been, because I think XRP's had it, Litecoin, even like Hedera hash graph, which really surprises me. But who knows? Maybe they just flip the switch on them, and then you're kind of grandfathered in, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if it'll be that easy. But it just feels like there's definitely an energy about it that it's so funny in the bull markets, man. When you find yourself like, holy shit, finally, like the world is waking up. You know, you imagine the price changes and you go, oh, well, it's because everybody suddenly learned about this stuff. And it's not the case, but it feels that way.
You know what I'm looking forward to seeing what the maxis will have to say, because I haven't seen any maxi shade thrown towards Litecoin's account yet.
Yeah,
Have
surprising,
you?
right?
It's almost as if like they're afraid.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Don't want to draw attention to it. I mean, there's a couple of guys that are detractors. There's always the Charlie Lee will sell your bags. Was it Marty? Now that guy, Marty,
Yeah,
that
there's a couple
Marty
guys.
Party, is that what he goes by? I
But
think he's
that's the thing that I love about it, because this account, dude, they're fighting back. Before it was up to the community, and frankly speaking, I think the community was getting bullied by a much larger community of Bitcoin maxis, right? Like the Litecoin got like us. We would go after maxis and we just get, we'd get our accounts reported. I don't know. They'd mess with us like on a what was it, infrastructural level, messing with our accounts and our engagement prospects by signing or having bots follow us and whatnot and trying to shadow ban us. So having like an account with 1 million followers, uh, who obviously is like is Litecoin, um,
right.
defending itself makes our jobs a lot easier, and takes some of the shade off of us and takes some of the pressure off of us, I guess, um, and absorb some of that, take some of that aggro.
Well, yeah, punching back a bit, right? I'm trying to find this
Yeah,
tweet of his.
it's
I think,
much more effective than a bunch of bag holders, right? Like, it's just, to be
well,
put it
and it
bluntly.
gets some people on your side a bit, you know.
Hmm.
I think that's part of it is feeling like, um, yeah, yeah, that other people are like, I don't know. Again, for me, I have obviously a lot more wrapped up in it because I've been doing this for a long time, but I look at it and it's also like these guys that are kind of run these scammy like accounts, they're gonna sit there and try and shit on you, and it's like, you're a fucking scammer, dude. Like nobody has any real respect for you. Don't
Hmm.
come at Litecoin like, and people who have Litecoin, they have this fondness for it. Like you said, there's this most people in this space have been around a long time. There's no negative energy towards Litecoin. So to see them stick up for themselves, I think people are kind of rallying like, yeah, I'm gonna side with this Litecoin account because it's funny and you're punching down a little bit and they're punching back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Goliath.
yeah.
Like, man, I
Well,
cannot
that's it.
find
And
this.
like every time we'd start with the maxis, right? They'd always show us the chart. That was their mic drop. Is like, check this out, 1,000 to one,
Yeah,
1,000 to one.
it's been brutal. Well, and
Hey,
that's what
but
triggered.
we broke that 1,001 trend when we started streaming today, which is pretty cool.
Oh, it came back down, huh?
A little bit.
Oh, no, it's right there. It's right there. Bitcoin came back down. But yeah, I mean that I would say is what triggered the response from the community too, right? The that Bitcoin, everybody was running except for Litecoin. And it just felt like, what are we doing here? And I think what led to because this has been going on for like a week. We're going to talk about internal Litecoin as if it's really that dramatic, but people were getting very prickly with the foundation. And I'd had Robbie in the previous week, and we just were just back and forth, nothing really negative, but just
We were
having an honest
brainstorming.
conversation about it. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think just I understand a few things about the foundation. It's got limitations on what it wants to do, even in the legal realm of how do you act in a financial market? You have to be very conservative about it. And I think even right now, the Litecoin account's doing a good job of being funny, mixing it up, but they're not doing anything to try to pump price because they probably can't, right? You don't really want to get yourself in trouble for something like that.
yeah.
So you
And
have to
they
be
they
kind of
I know
thoughtful.
they definitely don't want to get people wrecked. I think that's the biggest concern more than anything. They don't want to seem like a pump. They don't want to be a pump and dump. They don't.
Right.
Uh, what they want to do is pump the fundamentals, um, empower the community, and really make this like a grassroots and like a solid coin, not something flaky, not something pump and dumpy.
Right.
If they want, if they're to like, I believe if they were to trigger like a bull run with Litecoin, they want it to be sustainable.
Right.
They don't want people to, to get caught up in it and then, to lose their shirts. So that's why I think they've held off on this for so long. Why they've been quiet, why they've just been building. Because really that's what they've been doing. They've been building relationships, building tech, MWeb on mobile, all these things, the ETFs. There's a lot of stuff that they're doing behind the scenes that we're unaware of. And this, I guess, is an indication that maybe the timing is right. Maybe with the new like Trump coming into office soon, with the ETF just on the horizon, the timing is right. Unfortunately, during this Trump pump, Litecoin was lagging behind, so maybe they had to stoke the fire a bit.
It's surprising how much
doing.
it's about momentum. We talked, I mean, this is a long time ago. We talked in spaces about how much this space is about, getting some recognition, something good happens, price moves up, another good announcement comes in, and all of a sudden people, again, it is crazy what can happen to your brain. And this might be prepare yourself for bull markets. If we're truly entering a bull market, it's amazing how your brain will rewire, and like the price will go to 350, 400, and you'll be like, well, there's no reason we can't go to 1200, 1500, right? Everything's going this adoption, and you just get into this mind, and like you completely forget that the price set at $70 for 3 or 4 years. And you just, and again, I'm not someone who's played the market very successfully, because I've been through those and I've felt those emotions, and I believe too hard, right? So reading the real world, obviously every time it does feel different. It feels like if you get an ETF and Trump does no capital gains tax and everybody's going nuts, you feel like, well, it's not going back to $80 again, but it shockingly does. And just like Bitcoin, it feels like, are we ever going backwards? Man, it does. It gets hard to believe that this price will end up $45,000 again. But there's no reason at this point to think it won't, because every other bear market's dropped whatever 80%.
Yeah. It's amazing how quickly the floor can come out from under you in this space.
Well, the thing is about it is it's almost natural to adoption. You're going to have over-adopt because we have these fixed supply assets. It's like that's how you distribute the coins. You have all these big holders. As people buy in, they're buying from the big holders, and eventually, or I'm sorry, the big holders are holding, and eventually they sell and into the masses, and that's how it distributes. And over time, those big accounts get smaller and smaller. That's distribution. That's basically how it's going to have to play out, and this is going to take a while.
I mean, and it's one of the reasons why we're always encouraging people to self-custody, right?
Right.
So that it makes it harder for that liquidity to go onto exchanges, to be distributed, or to be sold, on top of all the other benefits, right? No, I definitely feel like we're entering a new stage. I hope this is not just a flash in the pan like we've been used to, because I feel like we've never had a real pump. Like, okay, Bitcoin's experiencing one now since March, let's say, a sustained pump, but up until then, it's just been flashes in the pan, like up to 20,000, up to 1,000, up to 400, and then right back down, almost as quickly as it went up. So now Bitcoin's experiencing some really nice positive momentum. I think it's time for Litecoin to catch up. There's no reason not to. We've got a really strong ecosystem. Script miners are kicking ass. Script miners are like, I don't know, twice, maybe even almost 3 times as profitable as Bitcoin miners. Figure that one out. Thank you, Doge, by the way.
Well, the other thing with the Bitcoin, what's been probably the best thing, Bitcoiners have been, some of them have been great, I don't believe the government adoption is ultimately, I don't know. I just don't feel like it makes a lot of sense, but there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense in the world. They've been on the forefront of trying to get these crypto bills passed and recruiting senators in different states to invest. And all along, those states have been very conscious of they're not promoting just Bitcoin. They're not going to write a Bitcoin bill. This
I don't.
Bitcoin strategic reserve, maybe, but I
I
still
don't
think
think it's
that's
going to pass.
yeah,
I don't
I
think
still think
so.
it's a weird strategy. You put yourself, the next person comes into office and then they don't like it and they just sell it. It's like, okay, well, what did you gain? Maybe a short term,
Honestly, like I
right?
would, I think we're more likely to see a Dogecoin reserve than a Bitcoin one.
That would be the
Seriously,
ultimate irony. Dude, that would be the funniest thing ever.
first order of business for the Doge, for the Department of Government Efficiency is like, okay, we're getting rid of the Fed and we're mining Doge.
They just they pay their contracts out in Doge instead of, so like every government employee that they fire, they just give them like 69,420 Doge.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be genius. That's a great idea, man. Yeah.
If you're listening, is this on? Yeah. That'd be pretty good. So, yeah, actually, if you want to look at, I mean, I'm not, you guys, I am not a chartist. I will show you what's going on. Chartist to me is a derogatory term I use. Let's see. I'm not, I did something with my work computer, and now I'm down to one page essentially. Hang on a
One
second.
monitor. Oh,
One monitor, so I'm not as good as what I used to. But this is just, let's go to Litecoin USD. That's what people care about. So yeah, I mean, this is where we were. This is going back a few days, I think, right? Let's go back a week. I don't know. It was
oh, there
right
you
in
go.
here, right? This
14th.
is kind of when, that's what was so strange to me, is how coordinated it all felt. The tweets start going out here, the price starts pumping here. And I don't want to actually leave out this Lester thing, because I think that has something to do with it. And there is a Lester coin out there. We've had some guys in from this, I guess you want to call it the Lester.
There's a couple
community.
of Lester coins.
I would say, just talking to these people, I don't understand the meme coin stuff. I mean, I get it, it's a casino, like it's fun, but the whole plan is to like everybody's plan is to just buy it and then time they're out. No one's intending to hold these coins for very long or to do anything with them. It's purely this momentum game. So if you want to play around with some of them, knock yourself out, but just be prepared to lose whatever you put in there. That'd be my advice.
Yeah.
It's literally going to the casino. And if you make, I don't know, maybe the meme coiners will probably tell you, try to get 100x before you get out. I would be happy with like a 3x, and then but I'm conservative. So, but yeah, so we've seen just this morning, as Animal was mentioning, we got up almost to 93, but nice to see some activity after. I mean, we can look back. It's been slowly building in USD, and we finally started to see some momentum the last few days. Amazingly, year to date, up 25%. There you go. So this is where we were a year ago. 75.
Yeah. I mean,
Look at that.
whoop-de-doo.
Crazy. I almost forgot we went up over 100. But what's funny, I'd post something this last a couple weeks ago. I had a friend of mine reach out like, "Hey, I'm ready to sell my Litecoin." And I'm never one to tell people. I'm like, "You do you. I'm not going to influence you one way or the other." I don't know why. I just don't like to. And he had some issues with his wallet. And he finally, last Sunday, was able to sell his coins, and he missed all of this at like $71 or something. Yeah. So just goes to show you. But anyway,
well, thank you for your sacrifice, sir.
Yeah, I guess he marked the bottom. He's got to feel it. I mean, in a way, I feel bad, but everybody's got their reasons why they want cash or not cash at any given time. So it's definitely not a space for the weak-hearted. I shouldn't say weak-minded. But yeah, MWeb, we're seeing some growth in MWeb since Cake Wallet added it, right? We've seen this pretty consistently. If you're new to Litecoin, you don't know about MWeb. MWeb is a privacy layer. Essentially, it gives you very good privacy inside of Litecoin's uh, inside of native Litecoin. You don't have to go and use a third party or anything. When you send an MWeb, you don't see the values, you don't have addresses, so there's nothing traceable on the blockchain. If you want to go back to last week's episode, we walked through Cake Wallet's implementation. But yeah, continued growth. We're up over 100 for a little while, but still growing as far as how many coins are in there. 8 million, almost $9 million in there. So that's great. That's good to see. You got anything you want to show? I feel like I'm running the show here today, Animal.
No, I mean, I really enjoy what Litecoin account's doing. I think they're taking shots at Solana, which is perfect. Fuck, it's so good. Those bastards, they stole our thunder. We're taking it right back. They posted something like about this whole this was it Solana's place after me, and the boys post all-nighter plotting meme 2 manifestos. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. Like I wish I could buy this guy a beer, you know. Let's see what happens the next couple of days. It should be exciting next week if we'll keep going. Maybe this is going to be a full-time thing. This guy's going to join Greg and the Dogecoin account, you know, and Billy M2K and regular shit postings.
Join the Elon.
Yeah, I'm fucking here for it, man. And that's the other thing with Elon being or having the president's ear and starting this whole Department of Government Efficiency. You gotta wonder, like, okay, he hasn't spoken much about Dogecoin. He hasn't ever spoken about Litecoin, to my knowledge. He's never uttered the word.
Right.
We know that he or his son, at least, mines, or one of his sons mines Dogecoin. So it's possible that he's selling his bells and his Litecoin and just acquiring more Doge. It is possible, but they are at some point touching Litecoin, right? So you got to wonder. I mean, maybe we're going to get some recognition from Doge. Maybe he's going to, I don't know, talk about Litecoin and Bell's coin in a future tweet, script mining, and like how it's superior to Bitcoin mining for a variety of reasons.
Nah,
maybe I don't know, because look, people are asking for a Bitcoin reserve, right? I don't think it's going to happen, simply because I believe that script mine coins are superior. Okay, I've been over my reasons with you in the past. This is my whole investment thesis, right? Like, I feel like Bitcoin is somehow tragically flawed, and the only reason why it's pumping is because it's got its rabid hornets defending it on X, and controlling the narrative, right? The brainwashing people, basically. So once the truth gets out and the brainwashing seeds, which is what X is good at and Elon is good at, we might see something of a reversal, and potentially, a Dogecoin reserve, or a Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Bell's reserve. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think what would be the type of thing he would do would be like take Lester's picture and I nominate Lester for head of the SEC or something stupid like that.
Fucking A, man. That'd be great.
And people just read into it, you know. Like, that was what's so funny is those guys in the other night talking about, I think they're going to use Lester to bridge Solana into Litecoin. It's like, dude, these guys can come up with some bullshit stories.
Seriously,
it's amazing. It's funny to me, but you know, it is real. It is real. So, we talked a little bit about memes, and we talked a little bit about the election spaces this week. So if you guys if you ever come into our spaces, we don't talk, I don't know, we talk 20% about Litecoin. I really feel like I keep coming back to this idea that there's been a shift in people's energies, I guess, since the election. I really feel it. The wokeness is just like Litecoin's punching back a little bit and feeling like they're getting some traction. I think the same thing with people being, I don't want to say anti woke, just like over it. Um, the culture war is seeming to shift, and I think it's refreshing, right? I think Gen Z is really good, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Um, uh, they're over it. They don't want to be told how to speak. They grew up on the internet. They understand internet culture, and hopefully we can get to having some fun again. Make
No,
America fun again, right?
I think the pendulum swung a little bit too far.
Yeah,
In 2015, when in the States you guys gave the rights for same-sex marriages and stuff, that was a huge victory.
yeah,
There's certainly more ground to be made there, but there's a couple of things that I think the populace in general just couldn't swallow, and had a hard time with, and so now the pendulum swinging back, right? And at some point, we're gonna find a middle ground that everybody's happy with
yeah.
and can live with. Um, but yeah, it's now like this landslide victory that Trump had. I think it's just a knee jerk reaction to that, right?
Hmm.
People just getting sick of it, being like, "What the hell? Like this is too much." Like we're happy for you all. We don't, you know, we don't want to prevent you guys from living your lives here to the fullest, right? Um, but this is maybe a bridge too far. So yeah, we're seeing a correction in terms of that. And I mean, it was just like it was a landslide victory, dude. You see that chart where, and I'm not sure if if this has been verified, but like all the states that the Democrats won are the ones that didn't have voter ID or that didn't mandate
Um,
voter ID.
that could just be coincidental, but yeah.
Could be coincidental, but it could also be shenanigans.
that, that is true.
You
I
know?
mean, yeah, it does feel like, well, I mean, if Democrats win and they don't institute voter ID laws, then there's the states that they run. But yeah, I mean, even in those states, though, there's a dramatic shift in the percentage of people who voted pro or for the, I guess I think it really was against the continuation of where we were going. I feel like that was more the issue of like, again, where does this end? It's like with the meme coin thing. What's the end game here? Right? Like
Yeah.
if you keep just pushing people and pushing people, there needs to be an adjustment period. I think to your point, some things changed. All right, we're all getting used to it, and it's just you keep on and keep on and keep on. People are like, whoa, back off. And it's more the policing of it. I think it's the language police that really is what drives people nuts, where they feel like they can't. You try to make a point, and well, if your point isn't of the accepted language or isn't couched in this sort of vernacular, then somehow your opinions are dismissed. And people get anytime you see a lot of people fighting back, it's because they're just tired of being uh, muted, so to speak. And we've seen it a lot. I mean, that's what the Civil Rights Act was, right? Civil rights movement was a group of people saying we need to be heard. You're not listening to us, and that
And
drives everybody crazy. You know,
on top of that, like the Democrats didn't really have any real policies that they ran, right? They did have like price fixing, which is something that I think most people thought was suspicious and not like it's akin to communism, right? Um,
right,
but most of their talking points had to do with how much of a Nazi Trump was, you know.
right.
Um, they just demonized him the whole time, and I think, I mean, like that's not a great strategy, man. You can't just put the other guy down all the time. You got to show the people why they should bring you up, you know. And whenever they pressed on policy, they just came back to the same old talking points, man. Like the abortion thing. It's frankly, it's not even Trump's fault. Any Republican president would have put in a Republican Supreme Court justice, right?
Right.
That's it. It's like you know, um, it's as much his fault as it is, the Supreme Court justice that was replaced. It's
Ginsburg is on
just,
there.
yeah. I mean, honestly, she should have retired while Obama was in power, right? These lifelong appointments mean that they can stay in for as long as they're alive, and if they happen to die um, during a Republican era, like it's too bad. They give up their seats. So,
It's
I
funny
mean,
though.
yeah,
Like, do you find yourself because I do work. I think the pendulum has swung, and you do in a way you have to be like, okay, it can't swing too far. because then you do let people who are way in the other direction get a voice, and it's like you got to dial them back then, right? Like,
Yeah.
just because
And
we didn't like this doesn't mean we're going to like what you have. And yeah, and that's coming up on,
we
and I think the free speech part, it we had a conversation with somebody this week about free speech, how important that is, man, to just let people say what they got to say. And you
that and
out
I
with
think we got to be welcoming of the people on the other side. We got to leave room for them to come back. We got to make, you know, we got to be the bigger person, and try to mend the division in this country. Um,
Mhm.
Not just bring them down. If someone, I was talking to someone and like who's a big time Democrat, and they felt embarrassed, right? I was trying to struggle to understand like why embarrassed, but like when you consider that this person, this person's entire identity revolved around the Democratic messaging, right? And then to have everything that they worked for, that they invested their time and energy, their spirit into, just evaporate overnight and resoundingly rejected by the whole country,
Mhm.
right? Like, yeah, it's rough. And I think again, like, you know, we got to be understanding of them, and we got to be forgiving and not rub it in their face. We can't rub it in their face. We can't be like, look, you idiot. Like, can't you see it's obvious, stupid? But like, we can't do that. And there's definitely a temptation because we've been kind of, Republicans have been kind of, they've been picked on, and you're called like a racist and a Nazi,
Right.
for fucking 8 years straight, like it gets you. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't
think it's an
consider
opportunity
myself
for us to
I don't
go ahead.
consider myself. I find myself when a defender of Trump because of the lies more than anything. Like I really want to be like, let's look at the world accurately. And even after I'm in my personal life, I was on Facebook. I remember the first time he won. I had my reasons. I haven't voted for him since 2016, but I had my reasons to vote for him at the time, and yet to see it get twisted into this, yeah, this everybody who voted for him was like a racist and stuff. I think it was so infuriating to try to keep up with how much misinformation, how many lies were out there about him, how things were twisted against him all the time. And
Yeah,
it's taken 8 years, and people who voted for him generally will come and be like, I did vote for a Democrat, but I voted for Trump because I saw in real time the lies that were being told about him. And that
that's
forced me
it.
to look more into it. And I was talking to both my brother and my parents because we were talking about these social issues, and I was like, "Do you know what the drag queen story hour thing is?" And they're like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I'm thinking, how do you not know that this has been going on? And it's the information divide, right? Like if you're siloed into believing. So I think the left really, a lot of those people truly do believe that Trump is going to usher in this era of fascism and, round everyone up and put trans
A
people
lot of them
in
believe that
prisons and stuff,
Project
like all this
2025
crazy
is
shit.
real. Like Project 2025 is never something that Trump even uttered, right? It's something that was the Heritage Foundation, right? Who is kind of opposed.
Yeah,
These are like the old guard
I
of the
actually haven't
Republican
even looked at
Party.
it. Maybe I should look at it.
I mean, it's just bullshit after bullshit that you get from the mainstream media. Not to say that there isn't any bullshit on X, but I think that, yeah, Elon and his acquisition of X uh, played a major role in this election in
Yeah.
getting information out there, whereas being oppressed previously. Like if you look at just like the Twitter files, right, and all the shit that the FBI had going on at Twitter and how they're controlling the narrative and censoring people. Um, if they're doing this at Facebook and YouTube and every other CNN, even if they're doing it at Fox, if they control the narrative, even though Fox is taking one side and CNN is taking the other side of the debate, they're still controlling what debate's being had, right?
Hmm.
Like they're not talking about real issues. They're fucking, was it bike shedding this whole time, right? I think that's the right term. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Elon. Again, shit. Fuck, you ever take a break? Fuck. I
Yeah,
mean,
I do think a future where we could get Starlink to as many people as possible in the world, and free flow of information, it creates unrest. There's no doubt about it. When you have differing views, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. Honestly, there's an analogy to the crypto market here that you're going to have volatility when you have all these people's ideas. 20,000 cryptos. There's billions of ideas in the world. It takes time for people to coalesce around good ideas. But there's no reason to think that just by letting people speak that that's a net negative. Like, is it going to cause friction? It's going to cause problems. Just like in crypto, you're going to have pump and dumps. You're going to have scams. But that's the
Mm-hmm.
nature of the beast. And you're better off. You can't argue that more freedom is a bad thing for people. Like, at some point, you have to have some principles that you stand on. And if
Yeah.
you believe free speech is necessary, then it's just got to be free. You just got to let it be. You got to take the
The
good with
exception,
the
like,
bad.
of hate speech, right? Like, that's we were discussing this
Well, not
list,
hate speech, criminal
right? Yeah,
speech.
with the
Don't
exception,
use that
criminal
phrase,
speech.
hate speech.
Well, I mean, like, criminal speech, hate speech, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, being hurtful, using your words to really just, uh, I don't know, even
Well, to
like blackpilling people, right? Doing stuff like
slandering
that, like
people. Yeah.
slandering people, but like even like putting in really dangerous ideas and stuff into people's heads is dangerous and should be uh, controlled. To be honest, I haven't seen much of this stuff on X. Like people have been saying that, yeah, they see it all the time, but fuck, man, like maybe it's because I mute these accounts. Maybe it's because as soon as I see like even like those bar fight things, or like there's like these gory videos,
Right. Yeah.
these gory accounts, like whatever. I mute that shit. I don't want to fucking see it. Because you might see one and you're like, wow, that's pretty crazy. The guy blew off his hand or some shit. What an idiot. But then it's like, okay, then your fucking feed is polluted with this shit. So I mute that. Oh, fuck. I get nightmares, man. I'm a sensitive guy. I don't fucking want to see that shit. Um, but yeah, so my feed's pretty clean. It could also be that I follow mostly crypto and like Litecoiners, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I've definitely gotten into like, there's some places that I see some posts and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. And a lot of it around, the race stuff, and there's a lot of anti-Semitic stuff on there.
Is there? Yeah.
I'm just like, God, man, it's hard. It's hard to have, it's hard to have conversations on topics that are sensitive. The
Mhm.
biggest thing that I think we have to get away from is, and it's really hard, is grouping people together. Like just yesterday, there was a post about like murders in the U.S., right? And how much, in the U.S. versus Europe, like the murder rate's just insanely high. And this guy shared a map of the United States, and it showed where the darker states were more saturated with like per capita murders, right? And if you looked at it, it was like Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, right up the Mississippi River. And I was like, what if we looked into that as maybe it's the river itself. Maybe there's something in the water,
Something in the
literally.
water.
I mean, it could be, right? Why
Yeah, dude. I
you
mean,
look at
so
people who are violent, I took that IQ test earlier this week. I got a 139. But anyway,
that's pretty good. Congratulations.
they say that if you look at IQs, there's a certain range at which uh, people are more violent. And it's like at the
Mhm.
edge of being like 80 to 90, somewhere in there, because I think it's more like you're somewhat aware of what you're capable of, but you get frustrated with it, whatever the reasoning might be.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something that literally is causing IQs to drop in the water. So if
Well,
we
dude,
remove the
like
race blanket from it and look at it from a purely an individual as an
environmental.
individual, yeah, maybe we
But
discover new things.
back before they removed lead from gasoline, we saw that happening, right? People that grew up around gas stations with lead in the soil and stuff, lead in the environment,
Yeah,
um, they were much more aggressive, right? Much more violent.
right.
Um, so that was an environmental cause of, I guess, lower IQs. Um, so yeah,
But like what's
perhaps there's
crazy
something in the water, in the
was
environment. Yeah, perhaps there's
well, the
lead in the soil.
universities have become so caught up in that everything's about race and gender and all this shit that it's blinded them to looking at things without that being a filter, you know? So their studies are going to be more about like, well, why, because coincidentally, those states have higher densities of black populations. And so they look at it from like, well, why is the black community committing these murders, as opposed to looking at them as individuals? They literally group, as opposed to saying these are just people who have certain environmental conditions or they have certain upbringing. Let's remove the race part of it. Maybe remove the gender part of it. I don't know. Because you would say definitely gender wise, it's pretty solid. Men love to murder compared to women. The evidence is in.
Yeah.
Your odds of getting hurt by a woman are far smaller than a men, at least physically getting damaged. But all right. Well, we got off topic as we usually do. But overall, I mean, I think this has been a refreshing week. I'm excited. Do you have something you want to cover? I mean, I was going to maybe.
Well, there's actually, did you watch the fight last night?
Eventually, yes. I literally stayed because I couldn't watch it live because it kept rebuffing, which I think everybody ran across that, right?
It's pretty.
So my daughter and I went and watched a show for an hour and then came back. I didn't watch it till like 2 a.m. So I'm pretty tired this morning. But yeah. Well, what did you think? What did you think?
I think the first two fights were great. I think the second fight with the Southpaw boxer lady was amazing.
Oh, see, I didn't watch those.
No? Okay. And I thought, look, Mike and Jake Paul, they walked out with pretty heavy bags. Like, I think Mike made 20 million, Jake made 60 or something, 40 million. I think obviously Mike, he's 58. Okay. And I'm really glad. I was afraid he was going to get fucked up. I'm glad that he didn't. Look, is it the last time we're going to see Mike? Maybe Mike should fight someone his own age next time. The funniest fucking tweet that I saw was like, yo, next time Jake Paul should fight Joe Biden. This is like,
yeah. Well, it felt like Tyson came out quick. He was kind of peppered him a little bit. I thought, oh shit, he's about to show this kid what's up, right? Because his old flashes of his quickness, Tyson was so quick, man. And that ran out pretty quickly. And I think he got caught by Jake Paul. And then the rest of the fight, obviously, he was flat-footed. And I think he was a little bit afraid. Like, I looked at it like, I think he recognized I don't have the ability to dodge punches anymore. And I think Jake Paul actually took a little pity on him. And I think
yeah, dude, what the fuck? Would you beat him? Would you beat up an older guy like
no, I think
like the whole world?
Because neither of them were punching. It's like they both had decided, you know what? This is a mismatch. Yeah, I mean, dude, you're literally half his age, right?
Yeah.
And Jake Paul's not a tremendous boxer. I don't think he'll end up being a real competitor for anything, but he's an athlete. He can move.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go up against Tyson Fury or something like that.
Yeah, he probably get. Yeah, I mean, let's hope his ego is big enough. But he's probably no dummy. I mean, he and his brother have figured out how to become mega stars, and they keep themselves in the spotlight. Losing to somebody isn't good for his brand.
I mean, yeah, that's it. And and they position themselves like I was saying last night that he's like the modern day Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Kind of the heel, but organizing this whole shit. That was, Mike just showed up. I think he trained. He showed up and he fought. You know what I mean? Mike, or rather Jake and his brother, they did, or whoever else is on their team, like they set the whole thing up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I don't know for certain, but I think Mike just showed up and fought. He brought his name, he brought his A game, and he trained, right? Did a bunch of promo stuff, but I feel like Jake Paul really did all the heavy lifting when it came to organizing this event, like he has been in the past. Right. This is his own brand. Like I said, he's like the modern day Vince McMahon. Maybe, he's not like Vince McMahon is. I think he got in trouble recently, right? Like, is he in prison or like going to be?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I started watching that YouTube or that Netflix special, and I never realized how pivotal he was to the WWF, right? Back in the day. Never knew his story. Right. I just thought he was just the announcer, but fuck, man, like he made
Oh
this,
no,
he made
yeah,
it happen.
he's a gazillionaire.
Right. Yeah. And it was all through, like, it was, yeah, he did take over, he did follow in his father's footsteps, but he expanded aggressively and came out on top of the other wrestling leagues, right? Started just poaching all the wrestlers. He got Hulk Hogan. He's started with the pay per view stuff, right? Like WrestleMania, that was, you know, none of that existed before Vince McMahon's vision. Um, yeah. What a life that guy must have lived. Fuck, but it's catching up with him now, man. Like, I'm not sure what happened at those parties that he was talking about, but like,
I have no
I
idea.
think he's going to prison.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, now you're gonna make me look this up.
It's a really good show. I watched the first episode and it was just super nostalgic. Yeah,
Uh,
McMahon.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about him being in trouble.
Yeah, I think there's some sexual assault allegations.
Oh, gotcha. Anyway, I don't know.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, I know nothing about that, so
yeah.
I'd have no opinion at all. I never watched. I watched it as a kid, but in college, people used to love that stuff, and I was always like, all right. I mean, it's
But
the
it's
Coliseum
art.
thing.
It is art. Like it is not. It is not real. I feel like it is some form of combat, but it's more of an art form, right? It's more theatrical, right? And I think, um, I mean, the wrestlers are obviously aware of this, right? They're acting out their characters, right? They design their costumes and the
Yeah.
characters and the persona around this. They obviously know it's an act. Um, I feel like most of the audience is aware, but they suspend their disbelief because for whatever reason, maybe because they got kids bring like with them and they want to get the kids excited. Maybe they
So
just
I mean,
think
it's like
it's
you go watch
funny.
you go watch the Avengers, and people tear up over Iron Man.
All
It's
right.
like it's the same. I mean, it really is. These are fictional characters playing out a fictional story, but it doesn't mean it doesn't connect. And granted, like the WWE is like this dramatic, isn't a dramatic thing, but it's over dramatized, but it's not a drama. I guess if that means anything, right? It's not an
Yeah.
emotional story, but you do get a connection to people's characters, and they have their heroes and their villains. And it's funny you say it because I said something. I thought that you could play even like in the Twitterverse, right? Like there's fictional feuds. I'm sure like people purposely fight each other and bring attention to things with that. I'm surprised it hasn't become more of a thing. Like I told the Litecoin Foundation, I was like, you should pretend that Litecoin got hacked and then start fighting with the Litecoin account. And that, like when
Interesting.
Charlie did that, Charlie, I thought that was the funniest one, is the Charlie one.
Yeah, yeah. He's saying like Litecoin's a troublemaker now, entering his teens.
And then he says, that one made me laugh. I'm going to show that one. Let me find it. Probably got to look for Charlie's tweets because he's the one that he has fewer uh, tweets. It'd be easier to dig through. Let me see if I can find. He just basically, yeah. What did he say? He's becoming a teenager.
Yeah, he's going through his troublesome
Here,
phase. Hold on. Yes.
I'll share it. I got it.
All right.
I think trying to get out of the. Where the heck do we go in here? So Charlie said, "This is only a month after Litecoin became a teenager. Facepalm. The next few years are going to be trouble, and because Litecoin had said Solana is like the microphone of crypto, you need to check if it's even on before you try to use it." Everybody's kind of, and then
This one. Yes.
and then says Litecoin is like the penis of Litecoin holder. Says the man with a head that looks like a penis. I mean,
I like
again,
the way he spelled it too. It's
I
clever.
don't even know. And then and Charlie, and so in response to this tweet, the Litecoin account says, "I drew this in school for you today, Daddy." And then Charlie's just like, "Oh my god." We needed it. We needed a little bit of fun, man. We needed some fun. So whoever's doing it, thank you for doing it. Keep it up. Uh, we're enjoying it. And
Hmm.
if you have limitless energy and you're, put an address up I guess you know what they probably want. They want you to donate to the foundation or go buy the shirt. Go to the Litecoin Foundation. They have a shop with the Lester meme on it.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll do a giveaway or something. That'd be kind of fun.
that could be cool. And also
Maybe.
the light dot space, you can donate to the bounty, the general fund. I think the money will be well used.
Yep.
Yeah. But a giveaway would be cool. What are you thinking? A shirt?
Yeah. What would be a good contest or the best meme? Give away $50 and a T-shirt worth a Litecoin.
That could be cool.
Just give me your address. I'll have it shipped to you. Something like that. I'll just buy it and give it to them. But yeah, use the opportunity. I mean, this is the most attention we've gotten in Litecoin for years, and we got to roll in this momentum. I think we'll see an ETF soon, which will bring more eyeballs. Just make it clear why. Here's my advice too: don't talk about the past. This is my I do it too. Don't talk about saving Dogecoin. Talk about their merge mine today with Dogecoin. They help secure each other today and into the future. Don't talk about the past. You don't deserve your past. What have you done for me lately? That's literally how people think. They don't care what happened a decade ago. They want to know what you're going to do today and tomorrow. So that's all I got.
I mean, Litecoin still has a lot. Like we still have an edge, I think, over Bitcoin, right? And anything else, we do have a lot to offer. We've got an ETF in the works. We've got wrapped Litecoin.
MWeb adoption still very small, so that's got a long way to go. I think privacy advocates will wake up to it and realize, like, yeah, Monero's nice, but it's a pain in the ass because it's just not available. It's not accepted as many places, and the best way to get in and out of Monero is to use Litecoin and MWeb. And at some point, they'll go, well, then why am I bothering to go into Monero anymore? I'll just stay in MWeb. So it's just an evolution. People will wake up. I know this is bull market optimism, but the more the people use it, here, I'll give you one more chart. This is the chart I show all the time. I think is the most evidence we can give here. Hang on. This is the transaction chart, right? This is 1 year, but let's go all time on Bitcoin and Litecoin. Here, let's go a little bit less than that. Well, we can go 6, but anyway, can't I shrink this down? Oh, whatever.
Zoom in.
You can see, like, back here, Bitcoin was doing 100,000. Litecoin was barely doing anything. Couple 3,000 a day. When fees go up and Bitcoin hits its ceiling, people adopt Litecoin. So you go, all right, we were at 2,500 in January of 17, 1 to 100 basically in transaction count.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a surge. And then when the surge goes away, Litecoin's doing 10 times as many transactions as it was. And Bitcoin's not doing any more. So those transactions shifted to Litecoin. And then Bitcoin.
It's a substitution principle, right?
Yeah. Bitcoin fills up. And as it fills up and hits that ceiling, people move over to Litecoin. Here we go. The other bull run. Again, fees went up like crazy in this era. And people went from 25,000 a day to 100,000, another 4x in this era. And we settle back down. We go back into a bear market, and Litecoin's got more has almost now 2 to 1. Bitcoin transactions haven't gone up at all since. I mean, look at this. From 2017 to 2022, transactions on Bitcoin actually went down.
To be fair, though, that doesn't include anything on the Lightning Network, right?
True. Yep.
Okay. Just to be fair, so we don't know and it's hard to account for that. I think there's the ability for watchtowers to observe some of the network activity, but even they can't see all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Right. So let's even say, I mean, even if you had, let's say, 5 transactions, 5 to 1 on Lightning, so that Bitcoin was doing 1 million a day, that ratio is 10 to 1, where it was 100 to 1 back here, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, and we've seen then this was the ordinal spike right here, where both chains started to go wild. Bitcoin has been cramming as many transactions as they can. But again, what's happening with Litecoin is here we are at almost, generally I use 200,000 as a number. I guess it's like 180, 190 of how much is getting used today, but it just keeps leveling up.
Yeah.
Every bull market, it goes up more, and people, they leave Bitcoin or these other platforms. They use Litecoin because it's cheap and easy. And some of them go back when fees go down, but a lot of them stay. And that to me is like we're slowly draining people off. And as people get educated about Litecoin and they are on platforms and they look at Litecoin for the first time in their lives, because it's just been, in their mind, it was a boring dead coin. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm interested because this is a funny account. It may seem like a really stupid reason, but that's what triggers them to come back, like to take a look. And then eventually they're going to go, oh, well, it's also scarce in supply, and it also has proof of work, and it also is available everywhere. And why wouldn't this be just as popular?
We got NFT, we got ordinals, you know?
Yeah. We'll see.
Okay,
That part,
yeah.
we'll see if that takes off. That would be interesting if a bunch of meme makers come over. If this post, literally, this Twitter thing manifests into some real building going on, that would be pretty cool. So, but I'm gonna think let's have a normally lengthed show today, Animal, since we don't
Yeah.
have
I
a
mean,
ton to
we've got a
cover.
bunch of cool guests lined up. I didn't tell you, but I reached out to Paul Pui from Edge Wallet
Okay.
after this, because he's Edge Wallet's involved with this whole wrapped Litecoin thing. You'll be
Yeah.
able to, I believe you'll be able to wrap Litecoin, or at least trade or stake wrapped Litecoin through Edge Wallet. So we're gonna have him on eventually, maybe around Thanksgiving, I think, if we have an availability. Probably.
hmm
So that'd be interesting. We'll get some exposure to that, because I hadn't used Edge Wallet until I downloaded it recently, because of Wrap Litecoin, and it looks very nice. And I think they already use Thorchain for a bunch of stuff, uh,
hmm
and to integrate, I guess, another DeFi platform would be great. Um, so we got that. We have another guy. What's his name? George
Yeah, George Selgin,
Selgin.
from the Cato Institute. That was who was supposed to be today to talk
Right.
about the Fed. Thorchain, speaking of them, I do have some lines open up. I just have to basically, that will be an unusual time. I think we're gonna have to do that on like a Friday night for him,
Okay.
which could be fun, right? I've been wanting to get somebody on Thorchain forever because I think it's a really cool tool. Um, I know there's been some drama in Thorchain for some reason. Again, I can't keep tabs on everything, but I've just, sometimes you get like you hear rumblings. You're like, something's going on. I just haven't looked into it, but
Yeah.
something about some decisions they've made. But um, yeah, all these things, you want to move with caution when you're talking about putting your money into something. But yeah, Thorchain, and then what else did we have? Those three, I think, are the ones lined up. This guy wants a Litecoin price prediction. Well, right now it's
I,
$90.
I yeah,
I
90,
predict,
90 is a pretty safe bet.
yeah, it's going to go up 1%. That's my price prediction. uh, I think the we've had the previous high has been around 400 twice in a row, right?
Yeah,
That'll be
around
an
400,
interesting.
420.
That'll be an inflection point. Like if somehow it busts through 400 and something, um, then I don't know. I'm not enough of a wizard to know. The name of the game is that people are using it. It's widely adopted, and uh, there's no reason to see that's going to stop. An
I
ETF.
mean, yeah, we've seen the minor reserves going down, right, to all-time lows. So miners are liquidating their stuff. They're selling it, it seems. And I think a lot of them are perhaps swapping it for Doge. If I'm being
Mhm.
honest, I think that's what's probably happening. Maybe that behavior will stop. We'll start acting sensibly.
One of the things to think about is that the miners have definitely gotten enriched from Doge. Is that they're interested in all their coins succeeding.
Hmm.
Miners don't want because Doge, Litecoin, and Bell's coin are all merge mined. There are people who have been in this game for a very long time, have been mining Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bell's coin, have very large stacks, and are faceless entities that can move markets. And I still think there's a lot of gray market activity going on in these in this environment.
Definitely.
And yeah, if they can find a way by coming up with a Twitter campaign and coordinating meme coins around it, and um, it's a game. There's a lot of a gamesmanship to it, and so if they have all this $50 billion from Dogecoin or whatever the value of Dogecoin is, and they can find a way to like tell a narrative, start buying Litecoin, they're not stupid. They know how this game plays out, right? The momentum, they're momentum traders, and they've been doing it longer than you and me. So
No,
why
definitely.
would
And
they want to let
they've got
Litecoin
a
go?
lot of money to move the goalposts around. These
Yeah.
are people that with billions of dollars, right? And groups of people with tons of cash, they can just move the markets, spin up a new token overnight, pump it themselves to $40 million market cap, generate some hype, and then pull the rug just to make
Mhm.
themselves like 100 million, and they've already got billions in the bank. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of adversity, I think, in this space because of its decentralized and anonymous nature. It's still very much the Wild West.
Yeah.
People out there, you got to watch your ass. It's hard to find people to trust. And I think with Litecoin trying to keep its and maintaining its integrity over the years, and the foundation doing so, and not like rushing into things, rushing into the latest trends. I think it's like a light in the darkness, right? Um, that's the way I feel, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking to those meme coin guys the other day, it was like, you could make yourself insane trying to
Man,
understand
there's
what's the real
rabid,
coin.
totally rabid people, man. Like, holy shit.
Well, they were like, oh, well, I mean, and again, I think he was playing a shtick, the guy who was in spaces, but he's talking about like, well, you
Yeah.
saying that Litecoin has nothing to do with this? Litecoin has nothing to do with this Lester coin? I'm like, I doubt it. And I put the face on my, well, you don't have anything. You're telling me you don't own any Lester coin? Like, no, I really don't. I don't know what. Like, I'm not in it for this, right? It's a totally different planet um,
Yeah.
that they live on, and so yeah, maybe some of them get tired of it. I would think you'd get exhausted of it mentally. Most of us did, right? Everybody came in, played the market, and bought all these coins and ICOs and memes and NFTs and lost, and eventually, like, I just don't have the energy for it. I'm just gonna find the ones I like and stick to those because I can't. I got other things going on in my life. Somebody reached out to me this week about the almost like call it like the Mount Rushmore of crypto, and it's those four coins, right? Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. And we
Hmm.
should do something around that. Like we should, to kind of tell people like, if you're gonna buy, if you're new to this space, these are your safe coins, quote unquote, right? You're not going to get rugged. These aren't scams. Yeah, maybe you lose money. Maybe the market doesn't move where you want, but you're not going to zero, right? These are the trusted OG coins that you can get into and not. And I think that's good advice to give people who are new.
What do you think about Gate.io adding Litecoin to the meme coin list of theirs? You see that?
Yeah, again, it's all, it feels coordinated. You know what I'm saying? But that's the part where you
Yeah.
can't say for sure. This could happen organically. But why would Gate.io just because of a couple tweets, unless somebody asked them like, "Hey, this would be really. Could you please do this?"
Honestly, dude, I think exchanges in general have a lot of love for Litecoin. I think they see its value and they are as frustrated as we are with it. And so they're like, fuck yeah, they're on board, man. Like, let's
They
fucking
are
do
bag
this.
holders too, right?
Potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Interest markets want volume. They just want volatility. They want excitement. They want to catch the hot trend. So
could be that too. Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully we'll use this to our advantage. But all right, now I'm ready to go. I got stuff to do today.
All right. Hey, listen, I just want to say, anyone listening, if you like what I have to say, please like and subscribe and follow me at animal_Litecoin.
Yeah.
on it.
And then we didn't talk a lot about Cake Wallet, but obviously in talking about MWeb, your best place to use MWeb is Cake Wallet. We did a video on it last week, like I said, and the implementation is cool, makes it really easy. I would recommend using MWeb as much as you possibly can. There's no reason to not use it now that you have a mobile wallet that can take it. So you're buying gift cards, you're shopping online, you can spend Litecoin, just use Cake Wallet and you can send it right out of MWeb. So, and what's the other one? Go out and get some sunshine, right?
But yeah, well, you still can, because around here it gets dark at 4:30.
Yeah. Yep. All right, everybody.